Hi everyone, this is Scott Bogren, Communications Director for the Community Transportation Association of America, and this is another one of our series of what we like to call informative videos discussing projects and issues that the Community Transportation Association is currently engaged in. And we are currently in about the middle, really, of an important project that we began in October in conjunction with our partners at the Administration for Community Living. The title of the project is Strengthening Inclusive Coordinated Transportation Partnerships to Promote Community Living. And the project is really focused on ways in which the transit planning process can better engage older Americans and people with disabilities. And there are numerous facets to the project, and all information about the project, and I'll give this at the end of this informative video as well, is at www.transitplanning, number 4, all, transit planning for all, but the 4 is a numeral, .org. And a lot of information is up on the site, and I have with me today the project director for this important endeavor, Charles Dixon. And so, Charlie, the first question I'm going to ask you really is just to kind of go over the history of the project.
Thanks, Scott, and I appreciate this opportunity to talk about this, what we think is a very exciting project. And this really came out of the, as Scott said, the Administration for Community Living, which is a new administration within the Department of Health and Human Services. They took the Administration for Aging and a couple of other organizations that work with people with disabilities and combined it into a new organization called the Administration for Community Living. And the idea behind that is they really want to make their programs work for people so that they can continue to have active, independent lives in their community. What they were looking for in this project was how transportation can contribute to that. And I think we all agree that transportation is a vital part of helping people maintain independence within their communities. And their ideas is that if people with disabilities and older adults were included in transit planning and transit implementation, that the outcomes for those folks would be better. So that was really the background for this project.
And Charlie, I know we have some key partners that are helping us do some of the work in the project and helping guide the project. Can you tell me who our partners are in this project?
Sure. We're happy to be working with 2 other national organizations. We're working with Easter Seals, which works extensively with people with disabilities, and we're also partnering with the National Association of Area Agencies on Aging, which obviously work with older adults. So we think that between Easter Seals, N4A, and the Community Transportation Association, we really have the transportation, older adult community, and persons with disabilities covered. We're also working with an organization called WESTAT, which does social science research, and they're helping us evaluate the effectiveness of this project.
Thanks, Charlie. I know that there are 3 major components along with the dissemination of everything that's going on in the project, but there are 3 major components of this endeavor. One is an environmental scan, which began the process. The second one is a series of inclusive planning projects that are going through an RFP process, kind of a grant-making part to this. And lastly is the development of a knowledge-sharing network that can advise and help kind of further the goals. Can you talk about those 3 efforts and kind of where we are in those right now?
Sure. The Administration for Aging asked us to begin the project with what they called an environmental scan. And what we did there, and this was a part of the project that was led by Easter Seals, and they put together a team of folks to just go out into communities around the country and identify some organizations and communities that had done work in inclusive planning and implementation, and really put together a document that showed what the results of these activities were, just to get a baseline of sort of what the state of the art for inclusive planning was. That part of the project is done, and the results are up on the website that Scott gave you. The next part of the project was putting together what we call a knowledge sharing network, which in other organizations or other projects we've worked on would be called a peer-to-peer network. And this is to identify folks that have done good work in inclusive planning and inclusive implementation, and have them volunteer to be part of this network so they can help other folks. So that part is still being developed, and that will be put together very soon. In the meantime, we were designing a process to do some demonstration programs, and this is something that the Administration for Community Living was very interested in. We'll be funding a number of demonstration programs across the country where we'll actually be funding communities to do some inclusive planning or inclusive implementation projects. We'll be looking at how that goes and compiling the results of those. And we hope that in a later phase of the project, we'll be able to take the best of those projects and even go further in depth with them.
Thanks, Charlie. One of the keys that we're looking at here, and my involvement has been with the dissemination part of this, but putting together the materials and developing the website, you really see an effort here not just to outreach to older adults and people with disabilities, but to engage. And when it comes to the planning process, how do you see that playing out in terms of this engagement, and why is this such an important aspect of what we're doing here?
And thanks, Scott. And as I said, that is really what we're interested in doing here, is seeing how folks can be engaged more than, as Scott said, outreach and letting folks know what's available, but actually getting them involved in the process to find out what their needs are, how current programs are or are not meeting their needs, what changes need to be made to make sure that these systems are better suited to the populations that they're supposed to serve. We're really hoping that we'll be able to dive into what works and then be able to disseminate that information to folks around the country.
All right, last question. We're moving forward now. I know today, March 20th, is the deadline for RFPs coming in, and we'll be sifting through those and really aggressively moving through the proposers to get those demonstrations that we want to go forward with. Moving forward after this point, how do you see the project playing out? And also in your answer, if you could let people know how to talk to you directly, send an email.
Sure.
If they're interested in more information about this important project.
Great, Scott. Thanks. Well, actually, as Scott said, today is March 20th, and the applications for the demonstration projects are due by midnight tonight. And after today, we really enter into a very accelerated phase of the project. We have a very ambitious schedule for getting these applications reviewed and the grant notifications out. We want to do that within the month so that projects can start on or about May 1st. Following that, for the next 6 months, we'll be working closely with the projects, both to monitor their progress, do some evaluations, but also to provide technical assistance to them to make sure that they are successful. We'll also be putting together the information that we learn from the projects so that other folks can learn from them as well. If you're interested in more information on the project, you should check back to the website, or you can call me directly. My phone number is area code 202-247-8356. Again, that's 202-247-8356. Or you can email me at Dickson, DICKSON, @ctaa.org. Look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks so much, Charlie, and we really do appreciate you joining us for another informative discussion about some of the key projects and goals and initiatives here at the Community Transportation Association of America. One last time, I'll give you the web address for the ACL project. It's www.transitplanning, numeral 4 all, transitplanningforall.org. And thanks for joining us again, and we look forward to another future video where we can talk about additional initiatives here at the Community Transportation Association of America. Thank you.